Well, let's just sort of start off. Mark Haseman and I've been associated for many years together, and Mark used to work for me for 17 years, and Mark went off on his own and did a project in Indianapolis called Sagamore. Then called me and asked me if I would get involved in the project here. I came up when I first saw the property and I said, well, where are you going to put the golf course? All I can see are buildings, roads, and places that where you aren't doing anything. He says, what's right there? Well, Chris Rule from our organization. Chris Rule came up here and started working and trying to figure out how we're going to route this property. And I would have to say that I've gone through, Chris is one of my design associates, been with me for, I don't know, probably 10 years, I suppose. And Chris was a very good player. Played at Ohio State with my son Gary, and he played the tour for a while. Played the what's presently the nationwide tour. Played that for about 3 years. Well, anyway, so Chris understands golf very well. He came up and started doing a routing, and I have to say that it's very unusual when I have one of my guys go out and sort of scope out a piece of property that I don't come along and change about 90% of it. I use it as a state of reference. Chris did such a good job. I never changed a whole routing that he did, and it's the first time that's ever happened on a project. So we started off with that, and then we had a routing that we all liked. It worked for us. It worked for Whirlpool and the people developing here. And then we start working on the golf course and how we might develop a golf course within that framework. The golf course is about 85% done, I would say. There's many holes that are grass. Some of the holes they're going to open 9 holes here in about 3 weeks, and they are probably 7 of those are probably in as good a shape as they could be. A couple are the last 2 planted last fall, so they're probably a little rough yet, but they'll be fine in a month or so. We then today, it's the first time we've been able to, my first visit, after my original visit into the dunes, my first visit that we've actually been able to work into the dunes, after you got your permits and so forth to be able to do that. Now we're working on, we finished up the 18th hole, which had a wetland issue, which we've basically got that pretty much in tow now, and then it's not grassed yet, but it's a very nice golf hole down with some wetlands along the right side of it. The 6th hole, which we had been working on, had a water main that went through the area. We worked on that hole today. That's now very visible. We've actually put an alternate green in there because we're playing over a large wetland area. I didn't think that women or some of the senior golfers would be able to play across that, so we put an alternate green. So we've got the 6th hole has 2 greens on it. One which is probably about a 290 to 300 yard par 4, and the back part of it, which is probably from the back tee maybe 440 or 450. Then we went to the 7th hole, which goes into the dunes, which is where we took some pictures today with some of the folks, and we had it was my first sight after doing design work of seeing how the dunes will function. The 7th hole we made some changes on today, which actually were changed while we finished the rest of our site visit. And I think the 7th hole turns out to be very nice. It plays out. It's a dogleg right. It's playing over around a wetland area, into the dunes, and the green's up into the dunes. When you got on the dunes, you've got a beautiful view of Lake Michigan. I've added some more user-friendly characteristics to that hole, which weren't there this morning, but they are now. I think that's going to be, it's not a particularly long hole. I think that's maybe 360 from the members' tees, and we even put another senior tee in today, which made it about 320. So it's a hole that I want you to be able to play, not fret over. The 8th hole plays off of the top of the dune, down into the low area. We extended the dunes out and created more dunes to make it look like the dunes went on further out, and then played back up into about halfway up into the dune with a really nice par 4 that's probably about not from the back, it's about 410 yards, probably 375, 380 from the members, probably 340 from senior area. We fiddled around with that, and I made some changes at that to make it more user-friendly. Actually took out a couple of bunkers, reduced the size of another one, actually took out 3 bunkers and made it so that I think that it'll play very nicely, and I think people will enjoy it. We then went up the 9th hole, which is, the tee is up at the, again, the views over the lake. There's a little rest area up there, stair station or whatever you want to call it, that's been from the park. The tee is right around that. We will play off the high elevation. Down, there's a rose pink area down at the end of the landing area, probably about 320 yards off the back tee. We then created a dune that's sort of about 200 and some yards off the tee, but from the back, which sort of gives you shape and to the fairway. We play over the rose pink area up into a green. It's a par 5, and we fiddled around with that today and got a pretty nice par 5 out of it. That was basically what we did today. I went around and observed what we had finished up on all the other greens and all the other rest of the golf course. I made a couple of little minor tweaks on making sure the greens were a little severe in a couple areas. We'll soften those through aerification and top dressing, so we'll be fine with those. And I think the golf course is going to be. I'll be very honest with you. When we started here, I said, "How are we going to get a golf course here?" And today, well, even the last few visits, I've been saying that is going to be one heck of a golf course. It is absolutely. I think the golf course is not only a good golf course, but it's beautiful. It plays nicely, it flows nicely, and it's going to be something that people that this area is going to be very proud of and be very happy that it's here. I know you've got one other very nice golf course in Point of Woods, and I don't want to make a comment on which one is going to be a nicer golf course, but I have my opinion. And I know Point of Woods is a very nice golf course.